I woke up as the despised side character in a cliché romance novel. The CEO, Aerys, hated me with a burning passion and was hell-bent on divorcing me so she could run off into the sunset with her true love, Jake Sanders. If you don't sign these papers, I'll break your legs, she snapped. I stared at her, mentally calculating the alimony I'd get from the divorce. Then, without hesitation, I signed the papers with a flourish. Hilarious. Let someone else play the tragic side character. I just wanted to enjoy life. Next thing I knew, I was sunbathing under the warm sun on a massive estate. The land stretched out for what seemed like thousands of acres. For a few stunned moments, I just lay there, staring around, trying to wrap my head around everything. I used to sell sausages for a living. And now I was inside a trashy romance novel. According to the plot, I had an arranged marriage with the female lead, Sophia Sinclair. The original me had been hopelessly in love with her for over a decade. But she never returned. The feelings, not even a little. Her heart belonged to her so-called soulmate, Ethan. In the original storyline, the side character, tried everything to break them up. And in the end, I fell off a cliff and died in a horrible, messy way. Just thinking about it gave me chills. I was never the hero. Just cannon fodder. A disposable plot device. If I wanted to survive this story, I couldn't follow the original script. I was about to roll over and go back to my sunbathing when my phone rang. Sophia's name flashed across the screen. Jake Sanders, get your ass over here right now, she barked the second I picked up, and then it hit me. Yesterday, Sophia had demanded a divorce. I'd refused. And in a fit of rage, I'd kidnapped her beloved Ethan. According to the plot, she had shown up just in time with her bodyguards, of course. Ethan ended up with only a few minor injuries, but now she was out for blood. The moment the call ended, I panicked. I had hurt her precious Ethan. There was no way she'd let that slide. She'd kill me. I bolted up and sprinted toward the house. The estate was so huge that by the time I reached the living room, I was dripping with sweat. Sophia and I had always slept in separate rooms. She never let me near hers, but I knew exactly where she kept her valuables. The original Jake was only an adopted son in the Sanders family. No one took him seriously. He hadn't inherited anything, and his bank account wouldn't last a month. So, before I ran, I needed cash. I grabbed a sapphire necklace that looked like it could buy me a small island. A couple of those, and I'd be set for life. While rummaging, I stumbled upon a sketchbook. Curious, I opened it. It was filled with portraits of Sophia, some from when she was just a teenager. Each one carefully dated, each one drawn with such skill and care. It was a birthday gift Jake had made for her. You could feel the devotion in every line. The original Jake had truly loved her, but she never saw it. To her, he was worthless. I suddenly remembered a heartbreaking scene from the book. Jake, lying there begging Sophia to look at him just once before he died. She didn't even glance at him. Her eyes were only for Ethan. What a fool he was. I gently closed the sketchbook, grabbed more jewelry, and slipped out of the room with my arms full of necklaces and ran straight into 2 bodyguards. Crap, I was so screwed. About half an hour later, they dragged me into a private room. My breath caught when I saw her. Sophia sat in the center, elegant and icy. Her flawless porcelain skin practically glowed under the lights. And no wonder the original Jake had thrown his life away for her. She was stunning. Ethan stood by her side. Classic male lead, tragic backstory, and looks that could melt any woman's heart. The room was filled with young elites, all watching me like I was some pathetic clown at a party. Sophia's cold voice rang out. Jake Sanders, get on your knees and apologize to Ethan. Ethan, bless him, tugged at her hand and said gently, let it go, Sophia. But she snapped, no way. He kidnapped you. He needs to pay. There was no way she'd let this go without humiliating me completely. Fine, a real man knows when to bend and when to stand tall. I dropped to my knees with a loud thud. I'm sorry, Mr. Crawford. I shouldn't have kidnapped you, gasps echoed through the room. Even Sophia looked stunned. I added, should I count out 2? And before anyone could say a word, I started banging my head on the floor, repeatedly. Enough, Sophia barked. She tossed divorce papers at me. Jake Sanders, if you don't sign this today, I swear I'll break your legs. I immediately reached down and protectively stroked my legs. Then I looked at the agreement and froze. She was offering me $200 million in alimony and 10 properties. What? I stared at the papers, wide-eyed. Tears welled up in my eyes, real ones this time, not because I was heartbroken. Oh no, that was just so much money. Sophia saw my tears and frowned, clearly thinking I was too emotional to sign. If you still won't sign, I cut her off, already scribbling my name. Signed, done. So, when are we filing for divorce? I asked. Sophia blinked, clearly thrown off. You're agreeing to the divorce? She asked, stunned. I looked over at Ethan and let out a long sigh. Your soulmate's back. I'll be the bigger man and let you go. She still looked baffled, but didn't question it. All that mattered to her was getting the divorce finalized. We agreed to file the paperwork the next morning. As I walked out of the club, I peeked again at the divorce agreement. So many zeros. So much money. In real life, even if I sold sausages nonstop for the rest of my life, I'd never see that kind of wealth. I wouldn't even need to buy a new house. I could just pick one of the properties, sell or rent the rest, and live like a king. Honestly, Sophia was being really generous. To her, it was probably just pocket change. I had just made it back to the estate when my phone rang again. Come to the main house, Sophia ordered, then hung up. I glanced at the time. It was nearly dinner. Maybe she wanted me to eat with them? The food here had to be amazing. My stomach growled as I hurried over, but the moment I stepped inside the Sinclair house, I knew something was off. The tension in the air was thick. Sophia and Ethan stood in the center of the room. Her father, Mr. Sinclair, was seated on the sofa, his face a thundercloud. Clearly, he had just found out that Sophia wanted to divorce me. For Ethan, and he was not happy. Ethan stepped forward, calm and composed. You can't force a loveless marriage, sir, he said. Besides, Sophia is already carrying my child. I hope you can give us your blessing. What? So Sophia had already made me a cuckold? I didn't remember this plot twist from the book. Must be a glitch in the system. Whatever. As long as I got my money, I didn't care who fathered the child. Sophia looked at me, her expression complicated. She opened her mouth to say something, but smash. Mr. Sinclair shattered a teacup against the floor. How did I raise such a shit? He roared, launching into a furious tirade. I stood quietly to the side. I didn't love Sophia, so I didn't feel any heartbreak, just a bruised bit of male pride. She really had no respect for the original Jake. Then again, maybe he didn't respect himself either. I remembered the 200 million, and just like that, my mood lifted. After yelling at Sophia for a while, Mr. Sinclair turned to his servants and told them to throw Ethan out. Even though he was clearly disappointed in Sophia, he reluctantly agreed to the divorce. Maybe it was out of guilt, or maybe he was just fed up. But before I left, he gave me several priceless jade antiques. Without hesitation, I threw myself into his arms and cried, "Thank you, Dad." The next morning, Sophia and I headed to the registry office. As soon as we arrived, there he was, Ethan, already waiting by the entrance. Relentless guy. He looked smug and confident, probably feeling victorious now that Sophia was pregnant with his baby. Too bad for him. I wasn't the same Jake Sanders anymore. I had zero interest in fighting for her. I just wanted my freedom and my money. We got to the counter quickly. 10 minutes later, we walked out looking dead serious. Ethan rushed toward us. "Sophia, did you get the divorce certificate?" he asked, eyes wide. Sophia shook her head. "No, what? Did Jake change his mind?" Ethan asked, panic rising in his voice. I rolled my eyes. "You've never been divorced before, have you? There's a cooling off period. We have to wait 30 days before it becomes official." I had only just learned that myself. Ethan's face twitched. His voice rose. "Of course, I've never been divorced." Okay. Why was he yelling? I didn't care about his love life. He glared at me. "I'm warning you, don't back out at the last second. Show up in 30 days. I snorted. "Sure, if I don't show, I'll be a dog." Sophia's face turned red with anger. Didn't bother me. Her face could turn green for all I cared. I walked away without looking back, but I wasn't taking any chances. To make sure nothing delayed the divorce, I made a point to show up every single day in front of her just to make sure she still hated me. Maybe I could squeeze some more money out of her. After all, I'd been in love with her for over a decade. It was about time I got some proper compensation. Eventually, she snapped. She threw a black credit card at me. "Get lost." I grinned. "Yes, ma'am, right away." Since the divorce certificate was still pending, I figured why not celebrate early. First, I bought a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, paid with her card, of course. Say what you will about Sophia, she was horrible as a girlfriend, but she'd never been stingy with money. As I cruised through the streets in my brand new ride, people stared, can't blame them. Handsome guy, luxury car, it was a vibe. Next, I went to the hospital for a full checkup. Gotta make sure I'm healthy enough to enjoy all this money for years to come. As I stepped out of the hospital, a familiar voice called out, "Jake Sanders." I turned around, and there she was, Fiona Harper. She and Jake had been childhood friends. She'd liked him for years, but he never returned her feelings, too obsessed with Sophia. That's also why Fiona and Sophia never got along. After Jake married Sophia, Fiona had distanced herself. I shook my head. The original Jake was a fool. Fiona walked over gently. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, just here for a checkup," I replied. "What about you?" She held up a paper bag. "Picking up heart meds for my dad." Then she paused. I heard, "You're divorcing Sophia." I nodded. "Yeah, she's pregnant with Ethan's baby. What's the point of staying married?" She looked stunned, then confused. "Jake Sanders, you seem different. You used to be so obsessed with her." I forced a cough. "After chasing someone for years with nothing in return, you just get tired. Let her be with whoever she wants. I'm handsome. I'm rich. Finding love won't be a problem." Fiona kept staring, like she was trying to figure me out. Feeling a little nervous, I laughed awkwardly. "Let's grab dinner sometime." She was too sharp. I didn't want her seeing through me, so I made a quick exit. There were still 28 days to go until the divorce became official. I spent every one of them eating, shopping, and packing up anything I could resell, and when the day finally came, I reminded Sophia it was time to go file the paperwork. She looked annoyed. "Jake Sanders, why are you more eager to divorce than I am?" I blinked. What kind of man would want to keep wearing a green hat? Then added, "Just thinking of you if we don't hurry up. Whose name will the baby be under?" "Surely not mine." Sophia was silent for a few seconds before saying, "Jake." I cut her off. All right. No need to say anything else. Bottom line, the kid can't go under my household registration. I don't want to suddenly become a father." Sophia's expression turned ugly. We had just arrived at the parking lot, ready to get in the car, when her phone rang. I don't know what the caller said, but Sophia's face darkened considerably. After hanging up, she grabbed my arm, her voice tense. "Ethan is missing. Did you do something? Where did you take him?" "Ethan was missing?" I quickly shook my head. "It wasn't me." Sophia didn't believe me. "Impossible. You must have hidden him away because you don't want to divorce. Jake Sanders, you're so despicable." "Me? Sure. The old Jake had hurt Ethan before, but I was a different Jake now. I was too busy making money to play villain. Still, if something had happened to Ethan, Sophia would definitely come after me." "How do you know he's missing?" I asked. "Are you sure you've looked everywhere?" Sophia glared daggers at me. She said she had planned to have lunch with Ethan, so she'd sent someone to pick him up an hour ago, but they couldn't reach him or find him anywhere. I thought for a moment, take me to his place. Maybe we can find some clues. Sophia narrowed her eyes at me. "Jake Sanders, if anything happens to Ethan, I won't let you off the hook." I couldn't be bothered to argue. Finding Ethan was the priority. When we arrived at Ethan's place, I looked around but didn't see anything unusual. He couldn't have just vanished into thin air, right? Maybe he got transported into some novel as cannon fodder too. Sophia glared at me. "Jake Sanders, if you're playing some trick." Suddenly, I thought I heard a noise. Before she could finish, I rushed toward the bathroom. I opened the door and there he was, Ethan, sitting next to the toilet, sleeping like a pig. He reeked of alcohol. Sophia hurried over, crouching in front of him. "Ethan? Ethan, wake up!" Ethan slowly opened his eyes. "Sophia? Why are you here? We had lunch plans, remember?" She reminded him. Ethan stood up, a bit unsteady. "I forgot. I went drinking with friends last night. Had too much." I turned to Sophia's bodyguards. "You didn't check the bathroom?" They hung their heads. "We didn't think Mr. Crawford would be in the bathroom." Sophia glared at them. "Useless." I rolled my eyes. With her intelligence, how was she a powerful businesswoman? "Hey, soon-to-be ex-wife, next time, make sure you've looked everywhere before accusing me, okay?" I said. I'd been so nervous, only to find out it was a false alarm. Now it was my turn to be annoyed. Before Sophia could respond, Ethan jumped in. "If you hadn't kidnapped me last time, Sophia wouldn't have suspected you." I laughed bitterly. All All right, but next time you want to sleep by the toilet, give us a heads up, will you? You know what? I couldn't be bothered to deal with scum like him. I turned to Sophia. Let's go file for divorce. Don't delay my alimony. The registry office was packed. We waited in line for a long time before it was finally our turn. Thankfully, we got it done. Our divorce certificate was issued. The money and properties were transferred to me. I'm set. For life, from now on, I'm going to enjoy the good life and live like a king. At the smile on my face, Sophia snapped, Jake Sanders, what are you grinning about? I had endured so much crap to finally reach this point. I didn't have to put up with any more nonsense. Of course, I was happy, but I couldn't be bothered to explain. I brushed her off, saying, nothing. I'm leaving now. That same day, I moved out of the estate. I picked a large penthouse apartment in the city. It wasn't as big as the estate, but it was perfect for me. I rented out all the other properties when the Sanders family found out about my divorce from Sophia. They were extremely displeased. They even called me, telling me to beg Sophia to take me back. In the Sanders family's eyes, I was just a tool used to forge a business alliance with the Sinclairs. I ignored them and blocked all the Sanders family members. Let someone else play the pathetic side character. I just wanted to enjoy life. That evening, I went to a bar. Life is short, you've got to enjoy it while you can. I had only had 2 drinks when I ran into Fiona. Jake Sanders? I can't believe you're drinking at a bar, she exclaimed. It wasn't surprising that Fiona was shocked. Jake Sanders never used to frequent places like this. I pulled my divorce certificate from my pocket and showed it to her. Your boy just got divorced. Gotta celebrate, right? Fiona glanced at my divorce certificate and smiled. Want some company for a few drinks? My eyes lit up. How about you treat me instead? The Harper family was just as wealthy as the Sinclairs, and Fiona was an only child. She had more money than she could spend in several lifetimes. So I figured I'd do her a favor and help her spend a little. Fiona sat down and rested her chin on her hand, studying me. Sophia may be a terrible person, but I'm sure she wasn't stingy with the alimony. I grinned. I'll need to get married again someday. Gotta save up for my future wife, you know? Fiona raised an eyebrow. You just got divorced, and you're already thinking about remarrying? I shrugged. What, am I supposed to stay celibate for her? No way. She's ancient history to me now. I must have said something that pleased Fiona because she cheerfully offered to cover all my drinks for the night. I was thrilled and immediately ordered the most expensive bottle. The next morning, I woke up in a hotel bed. Fiona was sleeping beside me. I panicked and quickly lifted my shirt to check Phew. I hadn't lost my virtue. Fiona woke up too. She glanced at me and complained, if you can't hold your liquor, don't drink so much. It was such a pain to carry you. You're so heavy. She shook out her arms as she spoke. So I had gotten drunk last night and Fiona brought me to a nearby hotel. She was worried I might throw up, so she stayed to keep an eye on me, then fell asleep too. I looked at Fiona and chuckled. She was much more reliable than Sophia. I remembered one time when Jake had a big fight with Sophia and got completely wasted. Sophia was so angry, she had her bodyguards throw him out. He ended up sleeping outside the estate gates all night. After that incident, Jake swore never to drink again. Fiona and I freshened up and checked out of the hotel. As soon as we walked out of the entrance, I spotted Sophia in the distance. Ethan stood beside her in a sleek suit, looking quite dapper. Sophia was probably seeing off a client. This was one of the Sinclair Group's hotels. Fiona thought I hadn't noticed them. She nudged my arm, gesturing for me to look over. I shrugged. A good ex should be like they're dead, no need to say hello. As a minor character, I was no match for the main couple. Better to stay far away from them. Sophia's gaze lingered on me for a few seconds. Then she turned and said something to Ethan. His face clouded with anger, but he got in the car and left alone. Sophia walked over to us, her expression stormy. I need to talk to you. Alone. Before I could speak, Fiona told me, I'll wait for you in the car. Then she walked toward the parking lot. I asked, what is it, Miss Sinclair? Sophia stared at me with piercing eyes. What's your relationship with Fiona Harper? I really wanted to roll my eyes. As my ex-wife, what right did she have to question me? I said lazily, whatever relationship you think it is. Sophia seemed to notice my attitude was different from before. She pressed her lips together and said, I'm not pregnant. She wasn't pregnant. So that was just a tactic Ethan used to get Mr. Sinclair to agree to our divorce. But so what? Her heart had always belonged to Ethan. Pregnant or not, didn't make much difference. I made a non-committal sound. Well then, you and Mr. Crawford should work hard at it. Try to get pregnant soon. Sophia froze, looking at me in disbelief. What did you say? I found her reaction amusing. How many ex-husbands were as generous as me? What was she unsatisfied about? Haven't you always wanted to be with Ethan? Now you finally can. I'm happy for you guys. Sophia fell silent. I thought she had nothing left to say and was about to leave when she called out, "Jake." I turned to look at her. Anything else? Although I didn't show obvious impatience, my meaning was clear. Sophia's expression was strange as she looked at me. Let me drive you home. I waved her off, pointing to the car ahead. No need. Fiona will drive me back. Finally, I walked away, not caring what expression was on her face. When I got in the car, I glanced in Sophia's direction. She was still standing in the same spot, unmoving. Fiona side-eyed me. You're not having second thoughts about Sophia, are you? What are you talking about? Quick, help me look. Isn't that girl in the miniskirt up ahead super hot? I rubbed my eyes. I'm still not fully sober. Can't see clearly. Fiona rolled her eyes at me. I thought you were still hung up on Sophia. Turns out you've already moved on to ogling other women. I'd have to be crazy to still be hung up on Sophia. She's bad luck for me. Maybe Jake even died because of her, which is how I ended up here. Fiona couldn't help but laugh. I looked at her. You know, this girl was quite pretty when she smiled. Life was great. After that, I even went traveling for 2 weeks and broadened my horizons. I finally understood why so many people wanted to be rich. Living the easy life was incredibly comfortable. When I got back, Fiona came to visit me at home. She also brought some news. Apparently, Ethan had already married a rich older woman abroad. Later, when that woman found a younger, more handsome guy, she dumped Ethan. He only came back to pursue Sophia after his divorce. No wonder he got so worked up when we talked about divorce that time. Sophia was furious when she found out Ethan had deceived her. They had a huge fight, and she accidentally fell down the stairs and got hurt. After telling me this, Fiona looked at me. If you want to get back together with her, now's your chance to play the knight in shining armor. She's in the hospital. Fiona thought I still couldn't let Sophia go because she had witnessed how devotedly I loved her for over a decade. I said with disgust, "Are you kidding? I want to live a long life." Suddenly, my phone started ringing from the table. It was Sophia. I picked up. "Hello?" Her voice was weak. "Jake, I'm in the hospital." "So what if you're in the hospital? I'm not your mother." But still, I said, "Oh, get well soon. Jake, aren't you going to come see me?" She asked. That's when it hit me. 2 years ago, Sophia had been in a car accident. While she was in the hospital, Jake had taken care of her attentively, even more thoughtfully than the nurses. Yet, she still treated him coldly. Now, she was calling again, probably hoping I'd go visit and take care of her. Dream on. We're already divorced. There's no reason to stay in touch, let alone visit. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. After I ended the call, I noticed Fiona staring at me. "Didn't you say you'd treat me to a meal last time?" she asked. I just said that casually. I didn't expect her to remember so clearly. "Then I'll go buy groceries. We can eat at home," I suggested. Fiona blinked. "You know how to cook." The original Jake didn't, but I did. Cooking wasn't hard. "Wait here. I'll buy the groceries and make you a feast." Mostly to save money. If we ate out, Fiona would probably spend tens of thousands on one meal. 2 hours later, Fiona gave me a big thumbs up as she admired the food on the table. "Wow, you're as good as a professional chef," she said. She picked up her chopsticks and started eating, complimenting every bite. For someone like her raised on gourmet cuisine to be that impressed by my cooking felt surprisingly flattering. Seeing her enjoy my food gave me a warm sense of satisfaction. Suddenly, I dropped my chopsticks. We both reached down to grab them, and our fingers brushed. We froze. Fiona's face turned red with embarrassment. She tried to pull her hand back, but I gently held onto it. "Fiona," I said softly. She looked at me with a sharp gaze. My heart pounded, especially under that gaze. Compared to Sophia's cold and distant demeanor, Fiona was refreshing. She might seem spoiled and proud on the surface, but deep down she was soft and genuine. Honestly, I had zero experience with real relationships. Taking a deep breath, I leaned in and kissed her on the cheek. Fiona's eyes widened. Before she could finish, the doorbell rang. I got up to answer it. To my surprise, Sophia stood outside. She looked pale and thin, with a bandage wrapped around her head. She had this fragile, sorrowful air about her. Her voice trembled. I looked at that sketchbook and finally realized how much you loved me. I'm sorry, Jake. I was wrong. Can you forgive me? It was true, Jake had loved her deeply. Anyone could see that from those sketches. When I didn't answer, she began to cry. Jake, I regret it. I shouldn't have divorced you. I've missed you so much these past few days. Can you come back to me? The old Jake would have been devastated by her tears, but I wasn't him. Her tears meant nothing to me, not even if she sobbed uncontrollably. Sophia, there's no such thing as a time machine. We can't go back. Her expression turned panicked. I don't believe it. I know. She trailed off when she saw Fiona walking over. Fiona came to my side and wrapped an arm around my waist. Jake, the sweet and sour ribs you made are amazing. I smiled. I'm glad you like them. Fiona turned to Sophia and added with a playful smirk, You're being rude, Mrs. Sinclair. Aren't you going to come in? You're a guest after all. Sophia's face turned ghostly white. She gave me one last look full of hurt before turning and running away. I watched her leave. Who would have thought the story's leading lady would end up like this? Life sure knew how to flip the script. Fiona pinched my side, pouting. What's that look on your face? You just kissed me earlier. Don't tell me you're backing out now. Snapping out of it, I gently patted her head. What are you talking about? I was scared you wouldn't want me. Her cheeks flushed bright red. She buried her face in my chest. I hugged her close. Her soft figure fit perfectly in my arms. It just felt right. Soon after, we became a couple. Fiona took me to meet her parents. I brought health supplements for her father, knowing he had heart issues. Mr. and Mrs. Harbour really liked me. They didn't care that I was divorced. In fact, they asked when we planned to marry. Fiona wasn't getting any younger. After all, I held Fiona's hand. Next month, they lit up with joy, thrilled by the news. After chatting for a while, her parents went upstairs to rest. Fiona turned to me. You told my parents we're getting married next month. Are we really? Her eyes landed on the diamond ring in my hand. I had bought it before we came. I didn't want to lose her. I wanted to lock this down. Looking at her sincerely, I said, Fiona, will you marry me? It was a 10-carat diamond, eye-catching and bold. I might be stingy in other areas, but never with my future wife. Fiona was so touched, tears welled up in her eyes. I reached out to wipe them, but she batted my hand away. I froze until she said, Stop wiping my tears and hurry up and put the ring on me. I laughed. She was scared I'd change my mind and bolt. I slipped the ring onto her finger. She threw her arms around me, and I hugged her back just as tightly. With the wedding so soon, there was a lot to do. The next morning, I went with Fiona to try on dresses. After choosing one, she went to change. I waited on the couch, scrolling on my phone. Then I felt a pair of eyes on me. I looked up. Sophia was standing there. Are you really marrying Fiona Harper? She asked. I nodded. Yes, we've already set the date. She winced. Can you not marry her? Sophia, I interrupted. You don't love me. You're just reacting to seeing me happy with someone else. If Ethan hadn't lied and left her, she wouldn't even be thinking of me now. Tears streamed down her face. That's not true. I thought Ethan was the one I loved. But after we divorced, I realized I missed you. I do love you. I didn't want Fiona to come out and see her there, even if you regret it, Sophia. That's not my problem anymore. I'm with Fiona now. She cried harder. Look, I added, I don't even feel anything watching you cry anymore. Doesn't that tell you something? I don't love you anymore. Sophia froze. Her lips quivered. Then, without a word, she turned and walked out. Outside, it had started to rain. She didn't have an umbrella and let herself get soaked, walking away slowly, miserably. She'd always been proud, almost untouchable. I never thought I'd see her like that, but I felt nothing. Just then, Fiona stepped out in her dress. Absolutely breathtaking. Babe, you look stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. I said. Fiona blushed. You're such a sweet talker. I pulled her close. I'm just being honest. To me, Fiona was everything, the woman I truly wanted. Finally, our wedding day arrived. Fiona and I were overjoyed. As I carried her out after the ceremony, I thought I saw Sophia in the crowd, but I didn't care. I looked at Fiona in my arms and grinned from ear to ear. Wife, I called out, brimming with happiness.